Welcome to the EOB Podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Ben No, and joining me is Sen Duong. So, Sen, welcome back to another podcast.
Thank you.
Okay, so last weekend we have, I believe, about two wide releases, and they are King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, and Snatched.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I believe we are like kind of both right and wrong. You know, you were right on one and I was right on one and wrong on the other.
Yeah, right. We'll see which ones they are.
Yes. How about we jump right into the box office? Coming in number one over the weekend is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. It repeated first place, pulled in about 63 million over the weekend. Drop off is 57% from its opening weekend. Domestic gross is 246, and right now worldwide is 629 million.
Yeah, that's a decent haul for a film that opens so huge.
Right. It opened to 146 million, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we were both low on our opening projections. I think I believe I said let's see what I said 130, and you had it at 120.
Yeah.
And it overperformed both our projections. And 57 is, even though it sounds high, it is not really. I mean, for a movie that opened over 100 million.
Yeah.
So it's actually a decent haul, as you said.
Yeah. So looks like this will definitely make more than the first one, and the first one did pretty well. I think the first one did 330 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have the numbers.
Yeah, but something like that. And this one will at least pass that.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, since it had a larger opening and judging from the second weekend, it's the hold is pretty good, and it seems like it's gonna do well from here on out. Even though, I mean, there will be tougher, stiffer competition, I have to say, from the first movie, right? Since Volume 2 is open like in the summer months, and I think Guardians 1 is open in the fall, right? No, August 1st.
August 1st? Oh, see, so it's still summer.
Well, the tail end of summer.
Yeah, it's still August is still considered summer.
Oh, well, we're heading toward year-round summers.
Yeah. Should we move on to the new releases?
Yeah, sure. Let's head on to number 2, and this is a movie that I was sort of correct on. Snatched is the comedy starring Amy Schumer and Goldie Hawn. About them going on a mother-daughter vacation trip down to some South American country, and they get into trouble, like get kidnapped and have to find a way back.
Right.
All right. It's directed by Jonathan Levine, written by Kate Dippold, and the movie pulled in 17.5 million over the weekend, and it's about at the upper end of where I had. No. It was at the upper end of what? No, not at the upper end, but it's around where you had it.
Mm-hmm.
You said 15 to 20 million. I say 25 to 30 million because I thought Mother's Day would help bringing in the crowd, and Amy Schumer, like the Trainwreck movie, her previous movie, had a 30 million opening, but this one only did a 17.5 million opening.
Right, but because it's modestly budgeted at just 42 million, and comedies tend to stay in theaters longer, I don't think it's as big of a hit as they wanted it to be, but it's still a decent opening.
Well, I had higher hopes for this movie,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, by my 25 to 30 million opening, because I thought it's a woman comedy, and those movies are on a roll right now. They're doing very well, judging by the previous ones.
And it's Mother's Day,
Yes, Mother's Day. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's disappointed, according to me, because it is Mother's Day, and it seems like the Mother's Day crowd didn't turn out for this, or maybe they did, and this movie had it open at another time would do worse.
No, I don't know. I think the reviews, the reviews were, especially compared to Trainwreck, not nearly as good. 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. Trainwreck was well reviewed. It was directed by Judd Apatow, who's great at this, these kind of comedies. So Snatch had Amy Schumer, but that's about it. And
Right.
Goldie Hawn, sure. Jonathan Levine is a decent director, but his track record, box office wise, is not as good as Judd Apatow, who's kind of like a genre unto himself.
Right. I mean, Trainwreck had better pedigree, had better people, even got LeBron James.
Yeah.
in it. The
Yes.
basketball player, for those who don't follow basketball.
Even if you don't follow basketball, you probably heard of LeBron James.
Never know, right? Never know. There's some caves that news haven't spread to yet.
I see.
And Jonathan Lean, well-regarded director, right? But he just haven't broken out yet. He haven't broken out to the mainstream yet.
Right. And Trainwreck also had John Cena too for the WWE crowd. So it was hitting at all kinds of demographics. Basketball, wrestling.
No, yeah. That's the thing. They're hitting the women's group and the men's group, right? Wrestling, basketball, and then there's the romantic angle.
Yeah, but in general, we just had better pedigree. Judd Apatow, who's super consistent in these kind of comedies.
Right.
And Jonathan Levine, he directed decently reviewed movie, and I guess the box office wise were decent, but not at the same level as Judd Apatow. And Snatched did the kind of numbers that you would expect from even slightly on the upper end of the kind of figure that you would expect from him, which is kind of like not 100 million grossers, but movies in the 50 million range.
And Amy Schumer, while she's getting there, right? But she's still not at the level of for example, Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, right.
Not that super consistent style of comedy. I think that she has.
Yeah. Well, I think just it's the same kind of comedy, but just doesn't have that same kind of pull as Melissa McCarthy, I guess. I mean, it seems like Melissa McCarthy, you throw her into any kind of comedy, no matter who's behind it, what kind of quality of a film it is, it'll still open.
Her husband?
Yeah.
Her husband?
Right.
Who I think wrote and directed a couple of her
worst review
movies.
Yeah, worst review.
Yes, and they still did decent.
Yeah.
And she has something similar to Trump, the guy who she is kind of skewering.
Yeah.
Cronyism, family members involved in the business.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
All right.
But in Trump's case, people see it as a positive.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to number 3, which is King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. Right. It is this Guy Ritchie's take on King Arthur and his the Round Table.
Right. And I was thinking
style.
20 to 25. Right. We were both kind of low on this movie, but you were lower.
Yeah, I was lower. I said 10 to 15, and you said 20 to 25. So it's kind of a bit weird, within my range.
Yeah, within your range. And you're right. In general, we were both not really high on this, but you were lower. I'll give you credit. You said that Charlie Hunnam doesn't have the kind of he just doesn't have the it factor that can draw people in, and you're right.
Yeah, I'm saying generic white guy. If this movie casts, for example, who's that guy who was in Star Trek?
You mean Chris Pine?
Pine? Yeah, Chris Pine. It will even go lower because the only guy worse than Hunnam is Chris Pine. Remember the guy who let us down time and time again? That's Chris Pine.
No, I believe no. It's
no.
It's Henry Cavill.
Him too. But like Chris Pine has a special place because we were high on that whatever movie, but then it just underperformed. His movies outside of Star Trek just underperforms.
Yeah, why he took over? The dang it the.
From Ben Affleck, right? Clear and Present Danger, the guy that that thriller.
What is it? How can we forget? Yeah, let's just look it up. Yeah, let's just do our research right now.
Real-time research here.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan. Okay.
Yeah, he took over the Jack Ryan franchise, and it just crashed and burned. They weren't expecting big things from it. I remember the budget was only about 60 million, but even under low expectations, it still didn't perform up to that kind of low expectations.
Right. Let's get back to King Arthur, okay? Like Charlie Hunnam. Like I said, like generic white guy, you say he has an edge in this movie, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, and with Guy Ritchie, he's kind of the Sherlock Holmes series was one of his brighter spots in terms of blockbuster filmmaking. But that, I guess, now you can give most of the credit to Robert Downey Jr. Because outside of that, he just can't crank out a hit.
Right, and remember Sherlock Holmes, the opening figures, the first movie opened to 62 million and the second movie 39. Even though like over time the two
Well,
movie kind of
there's a difference with
even out.
yeah, there's a difference with that opening though. One opened during Christmas, which is like one of the bigger opening days, and the second one opened a week before Christmas. Very different time slots.
Well, sure, but
Yeah.
not that, almost half, right? I mean, you would expect the drop off not to be that huge, but it is huge, right? And then we know that his other movie, that Man from U.N.C.L.E., starring the two negative charisma guys, Henry Cavill and
Armie
Armie
Hammer.
Hammer,
Yeah.
right? That one had only a 13 opening, and I figured that, hey, this movie didn't have any major, like doesn't have anyone with star power, and I figured that movie's gonna open to around the same range as The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Turned out I was right.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker, right? The budget is 175 million, so it has to do really well overseas.
Overseas, it did 29 million, which is decent, but for a film that's budgeted at 175 million, it needed to do way better than that. It needed to do, 100 million worldwide opening, and it was far from that. So they're losing big money on this.
Yes, and I heard that they plan this as the first of a of a series, and
Well,
it seems like judging by how it's going, it looks like that's it.
yeah, that's it. They're gonna go back to Sherlock Holmes 3.
If they can afford to pay Robert Downey Jr., right?
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. said, well, I guess they eventually worked out their contract. He's gonna do another Iron Man. So
Okay.
I was thinking, hey, when the Iron Man series is out, Sherlock Holmes, he can go back to Sherlock Holmes if he wants to do more blockbuster filmmaking.
As if Iron Man is not blockbuster,
Yeah, if he wants to do more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, sure. I mean, he's still got that Spider-Man thing going, right? I mean, he has figured largely in the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
And, it seems to be, from the looks of it, it seems like, there's something there between him and Spider-Man. So who knows?
yeah, right. It's what they're doing in the Marvel universes now. For the individual movies that involve other Marvel characters, like the new Thor has Hulk.
Right. And, because they have similar storylines, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, with Hulk, they're doing the, the World War Hulk storyline.
Yeah, the Planet
Of him
Hulks.
being the gladiator, coming and leading, his children back and becoming the bad guy.
Right.
That's it for King Arthur. I don't think we're gonna see more.
Yeah, literally, that's it for King Arthur.
Right. It seems like every couple years they try to make a movie about this,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't seem to do well. It's just kind of like the Tarzan movies, right?
Mhm.
Every couple of years, someone will do a movie with Tarzan, spending a lot of money on it,
Yeah.
and
At least Tarzan, I think, over time and worldwide, Tarzan actually did have decent. It's one of those movies where people had really low expectations, and then even though it didn't reach the kind of figure that you would expect from a film that's budgeted at almost 200 million, people were expecting it to be a big time dud, but it ended up doing way better than a big time dud.
yeah, sure, but the numbers doesn't inspire confidence that tells them, say, hey, we should make more.
Right. But Tarzan ended up making 357 million worldwide, which is nearly twice its budget. So on home video, this Tarzan will make a little bit of a small profit, not much. But it wasn't a big time dud as everyone in the industry was, most people in the industry was expecting. But King Arthur is a big time dud.
Right. Okay, moving along. At number 4 is The Fate of the Furious. It's in its 5th weekend already. It's still holding on. 5.3 million over the weekend. 215 domestic. Worldwide is about 1.2 billion.
Yeah, just continues to chug along.
Yeah, not much more. I mean, we said all we needed to say.
Yeah.
Which means number 5, The Boss Baby. Pulled in about 4.6 million over the weekend, about 162 million domestic, and worldwide tickets 456 million. And this movie is even longer than The Fate of the Furious. It's in its 7th weekend already.
Mm-hmm. So another solid hit for DreamWorks.
And for DreamWorks, I have to say, solid hit is where they need to go, and before to build up their brand again, I feel.
Yeah.
So they don't have these crises of all these trying to hit a home run and they strike out.
Yeah, right.
And moving along, number 6, Beauty and the Beast. pulled in about 3.9 million over the weekend. Domestic is 493, and hey, look like it's nearing 500 million domestic. Yay. Okay. And worldwide is at 1.2 billion. So hey, Disney live action is doing pretty well. I mean, we were initially when they announced it, we say why would they do it, and their plan is paying off.
Yeah. Yep.
And number 7, How to Be a Latin Lover. This is the movie that continues to surprise. I thought that when it opened it would just quickly drop off, but it's hanging in theaters. It pulled in about 3.8 million over the weekend. 26 million domestic. Let's see, no numbers on overseas yet, but hey.
Yeah, so it's going to be one of those modest hits.
Right. Again, a movie that caters to the Latino group, and these movies seems to be doing well. At least this one. Yeah.
Right. At number 8 is a new release that kind of limited about 300 theaters. It's called Lowriders. It did 2.4 million over the weekend, and the per screen average is not bad, about 8,000 per screen. At 300 theaters. I don't know anything about it. What about you?
No. None at all. It just popped up, and it stars Eva Longoria and Damien Bichir.
Yeah.
So even though it's opening limited, it has some names to it.
Right. So a decent debut actually.
Right. I mean, for a indie movie.
Yeah, for indie movie released in only 300 theaters.
Right.
All right, let's move on to number 9, The Circle. Did 1.7 million over the weekend, 56% drop off. After 3 weeks of release, it pulled in 19 million, which is about equal to its budget. Let's see what the worldwide figure is at. No worldwide figures yet, but I mean, hey, for a movie that's budgeted at just 18 million, eventually it will make a profit through overseas and home video, but hey, it doesn't expand the Tom Hanks or the Emma Watson brand.
No. If STX only has the rights, the domestic rights, then I think they might be in trouble.
You think so? They'll probably break even after home video.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they have to make a lot on home video, right? Because like if you take in, say roughly half of the theatrical box office, right? That's about 9 million.
Yeah, like let's say they put in 9 million to promote this movie for advertising.
Oh, that's true. I'm thinking about the budget, not how much they acquired the rights for. Okay, all right. You're right.
Yeah.
So they're there. They're break even, right?
Yeah, they'll probably break even.
And as you said, not a major career move for Tom Hanks or Emma Watson.
Yeah. It wasn't well regarded. It wasn't well reviewed. It did numbers that you expect more from based on the talent involved.
Right. That's what I said in the previous podcast, and like 18 million for both of them is not good at all.
Right.
And I say, hey, why were they in the movie? It's not because they were paid big bucks for this one. I mean, possible they're fans of the movie. Who knows?
The fans of the book.
Fans of the book. Right. Fans of the book. Right.
The reviews are horrible. 16%.
Right.
But it seems like they knew what they were getting into because the budget was only 18 million. So they knew it wasn't like despite it being based on a best-selling novel, maybe they knew that the content matter is something that's going to be, that's not going to draw a lot of people in. All right. Number 10 is Baahubali 2, The Conclusion. Just kind of like How to Be a Latin Lover. It kind of is still doing surprising business, right? This is an Indian movie. It pulled in about 1.6 million over the weekend, in its third weekend, and it's already making 18 million domestic, or nearly 19 million domestic. About the same as The Circle. Yeah. And, this is an indie... This is pretty much an indie movie that opened in only a couple hundred theaters.
Not just an indie movie. It's just an India movie, right?
Yeah. Not, speaking of
subtitled.
Yeah.
Subtitled, and of course it has all the garnishes of an Indian movie, right? Everything is so blown out of proportion for this one. It's a big action movie. I can see the appeal.
Yeah. There's only 5 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes so far, but they're all decent. Basically, it's a big blockbuster, visual, entertaining, flashy movie. And
like I said, the thing you need to focus on really is that it did about the same box office as The Circle with less theaters.
Yeah.
So that's how successful this movie is. Hey, we make good time for the top 10.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so let's move on to the new releases. We have about 3 wide releases, right?
Mm-hmm.
This weekend.
Yep.
We have Alien Covenant, which is sort of like the sequel to Prometheus, that Ridley Scott movie, right? Kind of alien.
Yeah.
It has now it has an official alien in the name. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid 4 and everything.
Based on a YA novel, right?
Maybe, could be, sure.
Okay, should we get going?
Yes, let's jump right in with Alien Covenant. As we know, it is the sequel to Prometheus, which is kind of like a spin-off extension of Ridley Scott's Alien movie.
Mm-hmm. The reviews are pretty good so far. 76% on Rotten Tomatoes with over 100 reviews. For film, I mean, what is this? The 6th Alien movie? It's probably the best review of the last batch of Alien movies. I think Prometheus is pretty well reviewed too. I mean, solid review, around 70%. 70-75%.
Right. So we just don't count the Alien movies that's not directed by Scott or James Cameron. So
yeah. If we don't count those, it's a decent series
right.
in terms of reviews.
Right. So Alien Covenant, really now they're bringing back, with Alien in the title. They're making it sort of really an official Alien movie.
Yeah.
With aliens, right?
Yeah.
With real aliens. Now with the face huggers and everything.
Yeah.
So Prometheus had a 51 million opening. Considering it didn't do that well domestically, it only did 126 million domestic, 403 million worldwide. And I think they want the alien in the title so that they could really tie it into the series.
Right.
People who might be confused with the Prometheus name.
Yeah, right. But still, I don't know if there's how much franchise fatigue is gonna affect this movie, like it affected a lot of sequels last year. Even though we didn't see it have any effect on Guardians of the Galaxy, but hey, that's the second film in a franchise. Whereas the other ones from last year were like the 3rd or 4th or 5th or higher film in the series. So I'm not sure this can do 50 million.
Right. Let's see. Prometheus is relatively well reviewed, 72% on the tomato meter, but only a B cinema score.
B is gonna run average. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's an average movie. So you could say it doesn't, judging by the domestic box office, right? I mean, there's not a lot of enthusiasm for the movie, right? You could say. And now they're making a real alien movie, right? With alien in the title. As you said, it might have difficulty opening as well as Prometheus.
Right. The Alien franchise, though, it's going to be very front-loaded. Hey, who knows? Maybe with Alien in the title, it might do a little bit more. But I'll just say I'll go with 40. I'll go with 45.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, Ridley Scott, he can make sci-fi movies, but action movies, he's still a couple steps below James Cameron. To tell you the truth, I like Aliens more than Alien.
Well, I mean, they're two different kind of movies.
Right. But still, if gonna watch one, I'm gonna watch the
James Cameron one.
Aliens, right? It's more of an action movie.
Because you're more
a horror movie.
Yeah, because you're more into action.
I still am into more action,
Yeah.
And I think for Alien Covenant, he's trying to expand the world of in Aliens, and where people are just looking for some ass kicking. I feel.
So what's your figure?
With the names involved, with the special effects involved, okay, I'm gonna go with US Wasak because I don't see it making any lower than 45. But at the same time, it's hard to match the hype of the first movie since it is kind of like the real one. But then again, this one has the real aliens in it.
Yeah, this one has aliens front and center.
Right. So 45, but it could perform better. It could probably open up in the 60s as well, I feel, if the fans turn out for this one.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think there's a franchise fatigue of last year, so that's why I'm going 45. Even though it's well reviewed.
Right. If you look back at Prometheus, right, people know that it is an alien movie or aliens movie, but movie that takes place in the same universe, right? And open to 51, and domestically it didn't do that well.
Yeah,
right? As you say, front loaded, and then it just dropped off.
Right. The budget for the first one I think was like 150. I wonder what the budget is for this one.
Oh, okay. I just did a quick look and it said 111 million.
Okay, so they kind of budgeted accordingly.
They're not that confident in it.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah, so we kind of agree around 40 in the 40 to 45 million range.
well, yeah, let's do a round of 45 million range, but I say it has a potential to open in the 60s, I think.
Right.
If the
Good word of mouth spreads.
good word of mouth spread, and like I said, the alien in the title, they know what they're doing, right? They're actually officially putting an alien in the title, and that could draw people who might be confused with the first, Prometheus movie.
Right.
All right, let's do Diary of a Wimpy Kid: The Long Haul, which is the fourth Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, based on a best-selling children's series.
Yeah, did every one of them went to theaters, or did a couple of them went VOD?
No, I think everyone went to theaters. So the
Okay.
first one opened to 22 million, eventually did 64 domestic. The second movie opened to 23 million, did 52 million domestically. The third movie opened to 14 and did about
did
49 million domestically.
So pretty
Yes.
consistent, pretty consistent whole, especially considering, the first one did 64 million and then the last two did about 50 million. So pretty consistent.
So pretty there, but you can see some erosion there.
Yeah,
by the
you
third
can see
movie.
some erosion, yeah. Especially the opening weekend. You can tell with the second one, people were, the fans were excited. So the second film opened better, a little bit better than the first film. And the third one, there's a huge drop off, but I think a lot of that has to do with the opening, because the first two films looked like they opened during spring break, and the last one, Dog Days, opened towards the dog days of summer.
Right.
And this one is opening at around I don't know, it's kind of a weird weekend. Kids aren't out of school yet, so. And
Sure,
it's
but
not,
there's still
it's-
the weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's not any kind of I guess it's towards the tail end of school, and kids aren't taking school seriously around this time.
Sure, and we have Memorial Day weekend coming up too. you
Oh
know?
yeah, that's true. All right, so the series has been consistent on the long haul, but opening numbers, the last one went down a lot because it didn't open in spring break. So what are you thinking then?
I think if the consistency is gonna hold, I think it's probably gonna open to around 20 million.
You think so? It's not any kind of vacation though. Dog Days opened to around 15 million in towards the tail end of the summer.
Yeah, but I think also the third movie is the outlier. I think maybe it's just that book. It just probably didn't translate to a good movie.
And here's the other thing: the long haul also completely recast everyone, because the kid from I guess the first three films are grown up. So it's almost a sort of reboot. Like everyone's been recasted, or it's either I'm not sure if everyone has been recast, or is it just a new family?
I don't think so. I think it has to be the same family because they still have to follow the book.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to make of the trailer, because from the trailer it seems like it was a new family. I'm not sure if the characters are the same.
I'm not aware because I haven't watched those movies.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm sure I'm sure they have to follow the book, right? 'Cause the characters in the book, and if they recast everybody, so that's why they look different. And this one,
No,
The
I
Long
mean,
Haul is about
like,
a road trip.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not sure if the names of the characters are different too. No, because it did say that, hey, the same, not the same Wimpy family, but another Wimpy family. Let's take a quick look at the characters.
Sure, you take a quick look while
Yeah.
I say my piece. Okay, so
Alright.
I don't see the point of them like recasting. Saying it's another family because the previous actors are not getting any younger, so they couldn't really go back and recast them. You know what I'm saying? So they might as well go along and switch them out, the actors out, and just go on with the story.
Let's see here.
No, it seems like characters are the same: Charlie Wright, Roderick, Jason Drucker, Greg.
That's how much research we did.
Good enough.
I don't remember. I think the reviews were decent for the first film, but the reviews for this fourth film is pretty bad. Well, there's only 5 reviews so far, and it's at 20%. But these films are kind of review proof.
Right. I mean, these are for kids who are fans of the book. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're the same character, same family.
Okay. All right.
So my number is about opening is 20 million. I think it's gonna stay consistent, and I think it's gonna follow the first two movies. I think the third one with its 14 million opening is the outlier because it just probably
You don't think there's any kind
doesn't
of
have.
franchise fatigue?
No, I think it's just it's because of the book. I guess it's just not that exciting of a book where they're just spending somewhere lounging around, and this one it has more action to it because it is a road trip.
Yeah, let me see here. I think the first two films open around spring break, so I can see the higher numbers. The fourth film opened in August. This one, not exactly August, but also not kids on out of school. I'm actually thinking 12 million.
Okay, so you say this one will fit more in with will be similar to the third movie instead of the first two.
Yeah, because it didn't. Had this one opened during spring break, I might give it higher numbers. Since the third film didn't open during spring break, and even though even though it has pretty good legs, I'm thinking this one will follow the third film. Plus, this one is always not good when everyone's been recast. It makes sense because the kids all grown up. You can't cast them in the film anymore. But with everyone all grown up, it almost feels like a sort of a reboot.
Oh, okay. All right. Something that we can talk about next week.
Yeah. All right.
And see which way the wind's blowing
Right.
on this. Okay. Our next movie is Everything.
Yeah, this feels a lot like The Fault in Our Stars.
Yes, but it feels more like the recent movie, The Space Between Us.
Yeah, it's between
about
those
guy,
two films.
A kid a guy who's born on Mars, and then he came back to Earth, and he couldn't really survive on Earth.
Yeah.
But this one, Everything is this teenager who couldn't survive outside of her hermetically sealed room.
Yeah.
And she just want to see the world.
Right.
And of course she met this guy, a next door neighbor, cute kid, right?
Yeah.
They hit it off, and she braves the dangers and
Went out of her
tried
house.
to experience life.
Yeah, went out of her house.
Yep.
And went out for bubble, and according to the trailer, got sick.
Right, but it's worth it because she ended up with the guy, and get to experience life, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think there's any reviews yet, but the YA genre hasn't been doing that well lately.
No, as we said, it fell off a cliff. Movies that are in this genre just didn't perform well.
Right.
And like I said, it bears a striking similarity to the movies that you mentioned, also The Space Between Us.
Mm-hmm. Which no one went to see.
Right, that one had a 3 million opening and domestically took in only 7 million.
Yeah.
And I suspect this movie is gonna follow that movie, but it might open even less.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Everything. So put out your number then.
I probably gonna be 1 million.
1 million?
1 million opening.
1 million. Let me see how many theaters, how many screens is this opening?
No, over 2,000.
Huh?
But still, 1 million.
Over 2,000. You're that low on it, huh?
I'm that low on it.
What? Oh, there's almost 3,000 theaters. So they have some confidence in it.
There's something called overconfident.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Well, in terms of how close it is, in terms of between The Fault in Our Stars and the Space Between Us, I think this is a little bit closer to The Fault in Our Stars. But the whole YA genre, like you said, just fell off a cliff. But I don't think it fell that far off. Well, I mean, the Space Between Us, pretty much. Yeah, I'll go 8 million.
Okay, 8 million. But can you tell me what's good about this? Why this movie will perform better than all the other ones? Like, The Space Between Us has some, name people in it. This one really doesn't have any.
Yeah, but it's open. I think it's opening more screens. Like this also has a very generic title too. Everything.
Yeah. But I mean, like I say, more screen does not mean that it performs. It's gonna perform, well.
Who knows? Maybe Get Out. Maybe the Get Out mixed couple. Maybe it might draw something from from Get Out, the mixed couple movie. Maybe.
All right.
Maybe.
Well, we're stretching there. But
Yeah, we are stretching there, but this the YA genre hasn't been doing good lately, and we're not part of that crowd, so we have no idea.
no, and you were right. It is based on a book, so that might help it. As we said, this YA genre, it's not doing well.
Right.
It's on life support, and
Yeah.
I think this might be another nail in the coffin. I don't think this one's gonna resuscitate this genre.
Right. All right. You're going 1 million. I'm going what? 8 million.
8 million.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so all in all, we are kind of sort of in agreement with Alien Covenant, right?
Yeah.
I say 45, you say 40 to 45, which is kind of there, and I said it could have a potential to open higher
Yeah.
in the 60s
Right.
if the people turn out for this one, or more, maybe, I don't know, right?
Mhm.
And then Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the fourth movie, The Long Haul,
Mhm.
I said it could probably perform just as well as the first two movie, and you said it could gonna perform about the same as the if less than the third movie.
Mhm.
20 million to your 12 million opening,
Mhm.
and everything 1 in 8.
Yeah.
It's gonna prove that either there's still the YA genre still gonna do okay, or that hey, it's just disappear with the Hunger Games.
Yeah. We'll see. I think your 1 million is way off.
Or maybe on target.
Yeah, or maybe on target.
Okay, so tune in next week.
All right. See you guys next week.